is young adult nonfiction, or not. Young adult fiction. Hi, I'm nervous. So this is a piece I've been working on all semester. It's actually from a novel I'm working on called Red Coat and Base. And it's about a guy who goes to college. His name is Matthew. And there he meets another guy named Gilbert, who's openly gay. And throughout the entire piece, Matthew struggles with his own sexuality in his family. So this is a little bit from the novel that I was working on during these shiny lives. Alright. Matthew glanced down at the address, then back up to the building in front of him. This was the right place. With a gloved hand, he pressed on the call box and waited. A few moments later, Gilbert's voice crackled. "Hello, this is Gil, in Richard's place. Who's calling?" "It's Matthew." The door buzzed and clicked as it unlocked. "Come on up." An older loft from the 50s, the building was partially renovated. Though the paint still peeled at the edges, Matthew could tell the stairs were fairly new. Faint light filtered in through the clouded windows at every landing of the stairs. Reaching the 4th floor, he knocked on apartment 412. Footsteps inside hurried across the floor before the door was flung open. Gilbert grinned and moved out of the way. "Hey there, I'm glad you found the place. Come on in." "Thanks," Matt said, but immediately froze in the door. His breath caught in his throat and his eyes grew wide. Dust bunnies gathered in the corner of the wooden floor living room, hiding from the light coming in from the loft's high windows. Cobwebs hung low from the ceiling, threatening to grope one's hair. Empty beer bottles, glasses, and dirty bowls littered the middle table in front of the plaid couch that appeared as if they pulled it from the street corner and didn't clean it up. The loft had no walls on the maid room, allowing for an open kitchen. The sink overflowed with dishes and half-eaten food. Splattered pasta sauce decorated the stovetop as spaghetti steamed while it cooked. Matt gripped his book bag straps for support. "Yeah," Gilbert strolled through the living room. "I didn't have a chance to clean up, but I am making dinner. We need brain energy to study for that midterm." Quickly deciding he wouldn't take off his shoes, Matt eased his way into the room, stepping around a crumpled-up newspaper. "Gilbert, I can do the dishes that you're cooking." "You're a guest. I wouldn't dream about it." "I want to. Don't worry." Matthew's eyes shot around the room once more. Shuffling to the couch, he shrugged off his book bag, but stopped midway, laying it on the cushion. Up close, he could smell the Cambridge pollution as it clung to the fabric. Matt spotted a second amber recliner he could sit in. Matt crept up to the chair as if he was sneaking up on a cobra. "Oh my God," he squeaked. "Fruit crumbs everywhere. Was that Dijon mustard?" "I need a paper towel," he blurted out, panting and clinging to his dear bag for life. His bag for dear life. The familiar backpack still smelled like his fresh dorm room. "Wait, I need 2. Maybe 6 to be more precise." "Yes, 6 will be enough." Gilbert turned from the pasta and frowned. "Matthew, are you okay?" "Paper towels now!" "Hold on a second." Gilbert wiped up the food on his jeans and grabbed a roll of paper towels. Handing them to Matt, he watched as the blonde wrapped one around his hand and brushed the crumbs from the chair. Then Matthew placed 3 on the seat and 2 on the wooden floor beside him. Sitting on the paper towels, he laid his book bag on the other 2. "I think I'm okay now." He closed his eyes to catch his breath. Glancing up to Gilbert, Matt frowned at the older man. "What is it, Gil?" "What the hell was that?" "Nothing. Sorry, did I upset you?" "I would have cleaned if I knew you were that freaking OCD." In the corner, something moved, catching his eye. Matthew screamed and sprung to his feet. "Cockroach!" Gilbert snatched a can of grenade from the top of the fridge, which Matthew noted was beside the bread. In a burst of fumes, Gilbert sprayed the roach until it died in a small toxic puddle. He picked up the crumpled newspaper, plucked the roach, and tossed the whole thing into the almost full garbage can. "There, no more roaches, for now at least." "Wipe it up, please." Matt's eyes stared at the puddle in the corner. "It'll dry." "Gilbert!" Matt practically shrieked. "There is poison on the floor. Wipe it up, please." "Hey now, we just always let it dry. It's not going to harm anyone. It's in the corner. Besides, the sauce is going to burn if I don't keep stirring it." Matt's eyes drifted back to the puddle again, the dust bunnies, and to the beer bottles, and finally to Gilbert's white socks. Every time Gil lifted his foot, Matt could see bits of black grime on the heel. Rubbing his hands together, Matthew ventured towards the stove and stood beside Gilbert. He waited a few moments before muttering, "This is your house. I know that, but I want to ask you something." "Shoot." "Where are your cleaning supplies?" "Seriously?" "Seriously. If I'm going to stay and study with you, I have to clean this place first." 6 trash bags, half a bottle of Windex, a quarter of a cup of bleach mixed with water, 4 dead roaches, 2 loads of dishes, and 1 happy Matt later, the living room and the kitchen were spotless. That night, Matt laid on his back on the air mattress and stared at the ceiling. Though Gilbert's room wasn't as terrible as the downstairs, there was still enough clutter around to make him feel uncomfortable. Rolling onto his side, he watched Gilbert work. Gil was starting an internship in a few weeks at the governor's office, and he needed to get all his paperwork together. He brushed his bangs from his eyes. Matthew had a sudden urge to touch them and wondered how soft they were. He sighed and pulled a blanket over his face. Never had Matt ever felt this way. Over the last few months, Matthew and Gilbert had become very close friends. They texted every day and would meet most mornings for coffee. More and more the last few weeks, Matt realized he constantly thought about his friend, his well-being, and what he might be doing. Gilbert quickly consumed his world. Look, those queers, Matt remembered his father saying as they drove through Pittsburgh to see a Pirates game. He had peered out the window of the back seat at the two men holding hands, waiting on the street corner. His older brother laughed. His mother remained quiet. Matthew wondered what the problem was. Small mining towns were tough to grow up in, especially when everyone knew you and knew you were the weird kid. That's why Matt had been relieved to go to school in Boston, a city. Exhaust fumes and noise were much better than the thin coal dust and his father trying to set him up with his friend's daughters any day. Women. That was the last thing his brother had said to Matt before he left for college. Find a nice girlfriend, Matty, and bring her home for Christmas. Though Matt thought women were beautiful, he couldn't imagine himself ever stripping down to nothing and sticking his penis inside one. He groaned. Matthew? Peeking over the covers, Matt met Gil's concerned eyes. He smiled and sat up. Sorry, Gil, did I disturb you? Slipping the papers inside a folder, Gilbert plopped it down on the bedside table. No, I was just finishing. Can't sleep then? Hop up here. What? Matt cleared his throat. Come again? It's a double bed. We can both fit. You might be more comfortable up here. Gilbert smoothed out the sheets for emphasis. See, no wrinkles right here for you to sit on. Oh, ha ha. If you don't sleep on the bed, Gil's voice dropped low. A cockroach might come in the dead of night, crawl on your face and like 8 eggs in your mouth. Matt scrambled up to the bed. Don't kid like that, it's disgusting. A moment later he added, you don't mind? Gilbert laughed. No, hit the light, will ya? Nodding, Matthew reached out and picked up the lamp before snuggling under the comforter. Settling in the dark, he felt Gilbert move behind him and slide an arm around his middle. Matt tensed up and glanced over his shoulder. Eyes adjusting, he could barely make out Gilbert's face staring back at him. You're not used to people touching you, Gilbert said, more stating it than asking a question. No, Matt rolled over and fully faced his friend. Though it was unfamiliar, a sense of protection settled in Matt as Gilbert tightened his hold. My family is very conservative. My dad doesn't even like to kiss my mom in public. Gotcha. Gilbert kept still. His hand rested firmly on Matt's waist and didn't try to wander anywhere else. My family's crazy. I was born here, but we live in Chicago now. Matt frowned. Something hard was jabbing into his thigh, making it hard to relax. Gilbert, is your cell phone in the bed? Opening his mouth, Gilbert blurted out, yeah. Then can you move it? Closing his mouth, Gilbert shook his head. No. Why not? Because Matthew, that's not my cell phone. Matthew stared at him like an idiot for a few moments before shifting away. I didn't mean to. Oh, God, that's your... Oh, I'm sorry. Gilbert kept a hand around his waist. For once, he couldn't look Matt in the eye. No, Matt, don't be sorry. Look, I sort of wanted to tell you. You know how two people sometimes hang out? And they go get food and they see each other a lot? Sometimes they hang out together for a really long time. I want to hang out with you for a really long time. Matt quickly sat up and wrung the blanket in his hands. You want to hang out with me for a long time? Like a friend sort of thing? Or a boyfriend sort of thing? The second choice sort of thing. Thank you.